Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloriana and I'm so happy to have you here. Today I just wanted to talk about some of the themes that have been coming up in 2025 and some of the things I've been discussing this past week with my husband, with my family, and just share those thoughts with you. Pretty much one big theme that has been coming up is the word resilience. Basically, for a long time last year, as I spoke, I was in the in between. You can watch my last video to know what I'm talking about. But I was in this space where I wasn't fully understanding the person that I was and am becoming, and not really identifying with the person that I used to be. So it's really freaking uncomfortable. And last year, I was just in a state of paralysis. And that kept me very just down. It kept me very dormant in a hermit mode. And this year is all about taking action regardless of the way that I feel, because otherwise my life is just not going to move forward. And so resilience really is for me a big theme, something I'm learning to do, because my emotions really do run a lot of my actions, and they have run a lot of my actions in the past. For some time that worked. But it comes to the point where those emotions could be paralyzing, especially if you're feeling down and confused and you don't really know what to do. Those emotions can keep you stagnant. And I think it's so important to have resilience if we value ourselves and our goals, and if we really just want to love ourselves more and create a life that actually aligns with the life that we envision ourselves living. So, resilience is the theme right now for me. Taking action no matter where I am, taking action even one little step forward, and just trying to ask what this moment wants from me. I'm trying to do this without getting so overwhelmed, because what usually happens for me is that I ask life, God, the universe, hey, what's my purpose? I need to know in order to move forward. And sometimes the answers are not as clear as I once thought. And so instead of overwhelming myself with thinking that I have to have all the answers of life, I have been understanding and trying to get better at just asking life what it needs from me today. And actually, even deeper, what it needs from me in this moment. Because really, this moment is all there is. And as we start walking, situations just start like asking different things from us. And we are not going to know what is needed from us if we're just looking at the bigger picture and focusing on the end goal. This really aligns with that whole idea of intuition, because for me, I do run on inner guidance with everything I do. I really always inquire with my inner self if this aligns with me or if it doesn't. And that inner self I consider to be my intuition, that divine guidance that I like to call. And if I really want to tune into my inner guidance, it's really important that I am not too far ahead, because intuition is really like a GPS system. I have said this before in a couple videos, that we cannot be focused on where we're going to be 20 minutes in the future, because if not, we're going to miss the turn that we have to make right now. In 20 minutes, we may have to keep going straight or turn left or right. But right now is really what matters. And that is why it is so important to come back to the present moment constantly, to stop entertaining our thoughts and our mind that is constantly trying to go a million miles ahead and trying to figure everything out. Because yes, life is very confusing. In all honesty, I constantly have these existential questions of why I'm here, what I'm here to do, what is my purpose. And then I also have my human desires, because we are multidimensional beings. I'm not only a spiritual being, I'm also a human and have my human needs and have to take care of human problems. And so, it's really a battle of coming back to ourselves, because we get so distracted, coming back to this moment where our inner guidance lives. We cannot go too far ahead ever, because if not, we'll get lost really easily and we'll get overwhelmed. And the next thing you know, we find ourselves in a hole in this moment, unable to move forward and do anything. And so, yeah, that's pretty much been the theme of what I'm going through right now. That also ties up with the whole coming back to myself constantly, because as we were talking with my mother in law the other day, I feel like life is this constant, not battle, but training. A training of constantly catching ourselves when we are not in our being. And by our being, I mean that inner guidance, that inner values, that inner grounding within us that, feels lighter, feels at peace, that love, that peace, that calmness within us that really allows us to be better people in this world. And it's really easy to constantly step away from that because we are being tempted by other people all the time, by other entertainment. And by tempted, I mean that, like, for example, someone will come in and say something that we didn't like, and automatically we'll lose our peace and we'll say something that we don't mean because our anger comes out, our frustration comes out. We'll look at something in the news or social media and we'll get fear coming into our heart and then lose the present moment because now we're clouded with fear and with doubt and insecurity. So it's that constant training of seeing ourselves come out and coming back in by choice, which is pretty hard and it takes a lot of willpower. And that also ties in with the whole resilience theme that has been happening so far this month. So as we enter February right now, I think I'm going to be having to hold on to this theme of resilience to just keep moving forward regardless of how I feel, really grounding myself with those intrinsic goals that matter to me, coming back to what I really want out of life, coming back to the people that I want to spend my life with, to the impact that I want to make around me, at least in this moment, to the goals that I want to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years, and taking action towards those goals, regardless of how confusing this time is. If you're going through something similar like me, just know that you're not alone. Confusion is tough to go through, really, because it's not fun. But I think that if you can come back to yourself, you'll probably get better guidance. You'll probably feel a lot more peace, because that really is the only thing that gives me peace. Coming back to myself, trying to meditate in the sense that I try to detach from the thoughts of my mind, from my emotions, and come back to my heart, to my being, and finding a moment of just peace, of allowing myself to just be here without the stress of the future or the thoughts of the past. If anything, that's all I kind of want to give you today. Remember that coming back, to come back constantly, to constantly check yourself, especially when you feel anxious. Remember that anxiety is a sign, usually, that we have lost touch with what's really important, with our connection, with our being, with what really matters. So, thank you for being here with me today. I am glad to have you here listening to me. It's been honestly a fun journey to come back to YouTube. And I, even though this is my second video, I do hope to come back to do more of these little chit chats, because I do enjoy it. So thank you so much for sharing this space with me. Have a very blessed February and rest of 2025. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.